Okay, there is a massive amount of noise dominating AI headlines right now, mostly radiating from a pretty dramatic courtroom soap opera out in California. But if we actually want to understand where artificial intelligence is heading, well, we have to separate that loud, multi-billion-dollar boardroom drama from the quiet, massive infrastructure being built in the background. So let's dive into this explainer and unpack the signal and the noise. Let's set the scene in Oakland, California. The trial between Elon Musk and OpenAI just hit its absolute climax. After 3 long weeks of testimony, Sam Altman finally took the witness stand. The cross-examination? Oh, it was pointed, and the whole room's attention eventually zeroed right in on a single, crucial concept: trust. When Musk's legal team pressed him hard about concerns raised by former associates, Altman didn't just give a sweeping denial. Instead, he offered this deeply personal statement: "I believe I am an honest and trustworthy business person." Honestly, it was the defining moment of the trial. Act 1. Altman takes the stand. Now, the contrasting narratives here are just staggering. On one side, you have Musk alleging that Altman and the executives essentially stole OpenAI from its original charitable foundation. But Altman's defense? He argues that OpenAI used a creative restructuring, taking outside investment to spin up a for-profit arm, just to keep the mission alive. He claims this actually resulted in one of the largest charities in history. He even went so far as to argue that Musk actively tried to kill OpenAI by launching a competitor and poaching their talent. This tension, it really stems from the absolute earliest days of the founding. According to Altman's testimony, the co-founders strongly felt that no single person should ever have absolute control over artificial general intelligence, or AGI. And Altman shared this kind of hair-raising anecdote on the stand. He claimed that when someone asked what would happen if Musk had majority control of OpenAI and suddenly died, Musk allegedly responded, "I haven't thought about it a ton, but maybe control would pass to my children." For the rest of the team, that right there was confirmation that no single individual was a fit to have majority control over something as unbelievably powerful as AGI. Stepping back from the drama for a second, an AI policy expert from Cornell University recently pointed out to Fortune that this messy public spectacle is taking a toll on everyone involved. Let's be real, neither tech titan is really emerging as a particularly sympathetic character here. And this matters to all of us, right? Because it's happening at the exact moment when public trust in AI and the people actually building it is already incredibly fragile. Act 2. The real legal question. So the absolutely crucial point here is understanding the jury's actual role. You know that highly publicized verdict everyone is waiting for next week? Well, it is merely advisory. It's not binding at all. It basically just serves as a recommendation. The final call on any legal remedies, that belongs entirely to Judge Gonzalez-Rogers. The division of power here is actually fascinating. The jury is only looking at very specific technical questions. Things like, was a formal charitable trust ever actually established in those early emails? Was that trust violated by the restructuring? And did unjust enrichment occur? That's it. Keep in mind, Musk's initial fraud claims, those were completely dismissed by a federal judge before the trial even began. Meanwhile, the judge is the one who decides the overall legal resolution, the final penalties, and, crucially, makes the ruling on that massive $150 billion damages claim during a potential Phase 2. Now, you might be wondering, is all this legal noise actually hurting OpenAI's business? Well, $852 billion. Despite analysts suspecting that Musk's lawsuit was kind of designed to surface embarrassing internal documents and, sow investor doubt ahead of an IPO, OpenAI recently closed yet another funding round at that absolutely staggering valuation. The market, it seems, is still betting entirely on the tech. But while the courtroom talks, who is actually out there building the future? Let's pivot and turn our attention over to the new guard. Act 3. Murati builds while they talk. Mira Murati actually testified in week 2 of the OpenAI trial. But literally the second she stepped off the stand, she went right back to work. And her execution speed, it is blistering. She leaves OpenAI, and by February 2025, she founds Thinking Machines Lab and raises $2 billion, which, by the way, is the largest seed round in history. Just 8 months later, boom, she ships her debut product, the Tinker API. Then comes a massive NVIDIA partnership, and now a multi-billion-dollar Google Cloud deal. It's relentless. And the scale of that NVIDIA partnership is truly mind-bending. 1 gigawatt. That is the sheer amount of computing power she secured in her multi-year agreement for NVIDIA's new Vera Rubin systems. Securing a gigawatt of compute, that puts Thinking Machines Lab on the exact same frontier-level playing field as industry giants like Anthropic and OpenAI. This isn't just some abstract research concept. This is heavy industrial-scale infrastructure. Then there's the new Google Cloud deal, which is valued in the single-digit billions. Thinking Machines will be among the very first customers to get access to Google's cutting-edge GB300-powered systems. We're talking a 2x improvement in training and serving speeds here. And this is absolutely critical because those specific chips are going to supercharge the reinforcement learning workloads that Meranti's Tinker architecture completely relies on. Of course, building at the absolute frontier comes with some intense organizational strain. Startups at this massive scale always experience friction, and Thinking Machines Lab has definitely seen some high-profile turbulence recently. Co-founder and CTO Barrett Zoff departed in a split that was described as, well, not amicable, and he actually went back to OpenAI. Meanwhile, another co-founder, Andrew Tullock, recently left to join Meta. But just look at the momentum here. Thinking Machines Lab has managed these co-founder departures, sure, but they already have a live product and massive compute secured. Meanwhile, you look at other heavily funded competitors, like Safe Superintelligence. They've raised $3 billion but are still completely stuck in the research phase with nothing shipped. Tangible execution is what separates the builders from the dreamers in this space right now. Act 4, the rest of AI keeps moving. Because while the legal battles rage on and these mega rounds are raised, the technology itself is just advancing relentlessly. For example, Anthropic just quietly launched Agent View for Claude Code. This gives developers a single command line dashboard to manage parallel coding sessions directly from the terminal. So why does this matter to us? Because it shows AI is officially shifting from a helpful little chatbot that answers your questions to a fully autonomous agent actively doing complex work for you in the background. Which kind of brings us right back to where we started, and a big picture takeaway from tech author Aaron Rose. He writes, "The verdict is not the story is the record. Regardless of what the advisory jury decides or what the judge ultimately rules, 3 weeks of sworn testimony from the actual architects of the AI revolution, Sutskever, Murati, Brockman, Nadella, Altman, that is now permanent public record. Future historians, investors, and board members are going to study this documentary record for decades to come, just to understand exactly how the AI era began." So, I want to leave you with this final thought to ponder. As we watch this unbelievable technology reshape our world, what's truly going to define the AI era? Will the history of AI ultimately be written by dramatic legal rulings and governance battles in courtrooms, or will it be written by the gigawatts of compute quietly powering the builders of the future? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer today. Keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.